Dave Ridenhour is here. He's chairman at the National Center for Public Policy Research and father of a young man with a disability. Concrete reforms for Americans with Disabilities Act needs to happen. We'll to get it right from the source. Hi, Dave.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be with you, Fawn.
I appreciate having you here. Now, my neighbor, Dusty, I think he's pushing 40, maybe 35, 38, I don't know. But he has autism. He's pretty highly functional. But, you know, when you have a baby and they come and they tell you there's something wrong with your baby, you have every right to feel some kind of way because that's scary. But they don't have the right to tell you that your life is over.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's amazing when you get that word. You think it's the worst day of your life, and then every single day after that, when you see them not not meeting the standard goalposts for their age, and you see their siblings and other kids advancing while they stay behind, it's just absolutely devastating, and it hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but your life's not over because that is a very loving little human being.
A absolute blessing, because what my son who is autistic, he is 25 years of age now. He basically has the capability of a 1.5-year-old. So, you know, he wouldn't know better than to run in the street. And he's had a history of aggression and violence. He's doing really great right now. But we have gained so much from him. Sometimes the Lord communicates with us in ways that we don't expect.
Right.
And obviously I needed more patience, and I've seen what it's done for my other two kids. They have such servant hearts as a result of having a special needs brother.
Yeah, and some people react incorrectly when they're around an autistic child, because I know some who will growl at you. I know some who, if you try to touch them, will literally melt down. And then there are others who will give you a hug and talk to you like they've known you their entire lives. So there are a lot of different levels of autism. So they shouldn't just straight label it like that, because there are so many different types. But having a child in my family who they told me was autistic and ended up coming off of the spectrum because of the advances that were made, there are sometimes misdiagnoses as well.
There sometimes are. I mean, obviously, with my son, he's nonverbal. He's still in diapers. There's no misdiagnosis there.
Right.
So he's going to need support for the rest of his life, in absent of some kind of a scientific breakthrough. But, you know, some people can be cruel. We were at the movie theater a few weeks ago, and some staff member was mimicking him.
I would have punched them right in the cojones. I would have.
Well, my other son almost did.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's a problem with him. It's not a problem with my son.
Oh, no, it's a problem with me. I'm just saying, I've been working with Special Olympics for a long time, and I am super protective of our special needs population. But what they need that they don't have is, I mean, you've got to work, you've got to function, you've got to take care of your family. Your life cannot stop because this beautiful soul came into your life and needs 24-hour care. That we need to do better at making that care available.
Oh, absolutely. And there is such a huge shortage. And as I mentioned, my son became very violent, and at one point he hit himself 2,700 times in a single day, sent us both into the ER, and there really weren't resources for him. And today we look at the number of psychiatric beds, mental health beds. There is a severe shortage, and it's by design by the federal government, because in the 1960s, they decided that they weren't going to reimburse hospitals with more than 16 beds. And so as a consequence, those kinds of hospitals tend to not have more than 16 beds. You lose economies of scale. You lose the number of beds because hospitals figure that they can't do it economically with just 16 beds. And so as a result, we have a crisis. And we see that crisis, by the way, in the homelessness that's out there.
I was just going to say, half the people are making fun of who are on the streets and think they're on drugs are probably autistic.
They could be, or having some other mental disorder, and I think it's been estimated that like 67% of the people who are on the streets have some kind of untreated mental disorder.
Paranoid schizophrenia is a big one.
Right. And if we can get them the treatment, get them a bed, maybe we can turn around their lives and they can start contributing tax revenue, and they can also have a sense of well-being and accomplishment. And that is so important for these special people.
Well, you're a special
know that
person.
They're making a contribution.
You're a special person to be able to deal with it. I know myself, and I would need help. Lots of it, if this were the case for me, because I've got to work, and I can't stay home, and I don't want to live off the government, but I would, if I were you, want there to be somewhere he could go where I knew he'd be well cared for while I was not able to be home.
Well, John, my son John does live in a group home now. And he comes home during the weekends.
Nice.
But, it took a very, very, very long time for us to get that situation for him. And, sometimes you just don't sleep at night because he was 24/7. If he's up in the middle of the night, I was up in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Well,
just to keep him safe.
Danger to himself. He's got to be. All right. So what's our main point? We've got a minute left. What do we want to say just to wrap it up and tell people what we need?
So we have a new program called Able Americans, which is going through all federal policies to make them work for these special needs folks. And one of the reforms we're proposing is getting rid of that, what it's called as the IMD, Institution of Mental Diseases exclusion, which limits the bed to 16. It's absolutely appalling. It's causing suffering. It's causing homelessness. And we need to address it.
Yeah, badly. And I remember when I was a kid, one of my mom's and dad's friend's daughter was autistic, but back then they called it something else because it wasn't a word yet. And as soon as they found out there was something wrong with her, they just kind of shipped her off. And we never even met Robin. She was just a name we heard, but a person we never saw, where they said she's in an institution. I'm like, for what? What'd she do? She didn't do anything. She was just born different.
And the real tragedy is that once these people go into these institutions, more often than not, their family never sees them.
Yep, and that can't be.
That's what I've seen repeatedly, and it's so sad because they are God's gift to us.
All babies are a blessing.
They make us better. Yes.
Able Americans. Where do we go to learn more, David?
Well, you can go right to our website, which is ableamericans.us. There's tons of material up there. There's even videos of, Jonathan's story as well as some other stories of those who have dealt with the disabilities crisis and, what they had to do to overcome it.
Mm-hmm. And there are more and more every day. This is not going away, so we need to do something about it.
Absolutely. And we are committed to doing that. We're all in. We are going to transform federal and state disabilities policies to help these vulnerable Americans.
Well, you keep me updated because I want to know when we finally get a hospital with 100 beds and we can start spreading those across the nation because the need is there. Dave, if I could speak this morning, Dave Ridenauer is chairman at the National Center for Public Policy Research, but he's speaking on behalf of Able Americans. A commentary he wrote, concrete reforms for Americans with disabilities needs to happen now. Dave, thank you.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
Me
and
too.
You have a great afternoon.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.